Hello folks, welcome to LexIS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing a current affair topic presented to you by faculty Sushma KP. So what is the topic that we will be looking into today? India's Indo-Pacific push puts China on notice. See, as usual, we will discuss it like a story first. See, China's policy of string of pearls policy is aimed at trying to choke India in its own maritime backyard. Okay, why do we tell this? We can see the live examples of how your China is trying to dominate your Indian Ocean with respect to your Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka's Hambantota port, Bangladesh, Myanmar, right? Your African countries. That's clearly visible. So now a news makes China, that is your Beijing, nervous. What is that news? Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is taking a 5-day tour. Okay, he's taking a 5-day tour to Indonesia, Australia, and New Zealand. All these are island countries. Now, why is this to be of concern to Beijing if you see? See, also you have to focus on the backdrop of when this is happening. This is happening in the backdrop of when your Japanese Prime Minister's successful visit to India. Now, Beijing has quoted stating that your India and Japan relationship should not be targeted at a third country. Now, this should come as a surprise. India and Japan are having some relations. Why is China, in fact, a country which uses Pakistan as a country to pressurize the neighbors in South Asia and India, talking about not wanting to use some other third country between India and Japan relations? First point. And which is the third country it is talking about? It's a very thinly veiled argument. It is referring to itself. Now, the question might come, between India and Japan relations, why is China inserting itself? That has your keyword of the today's discussion, Indo-Pacific. See, your India and Japan relations have gone from strategic partnership to strategic convergence. What is the strategic partnership to strategic convergence? It is with regarding to our Indo-Pacific policy. What is such Indo-Pacific policy? See, let's just take for a moment as to how is China in its neighborhood. China in its neighborhood, especially with regarding to South China Sea, China considers itself as the hegemon. Whereas your countries like Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, these countries want more of a rule-based maritime order, and they do not agree that South China Sea completely exclusive rights of China, but rather for all the island countries. Understanding? On this point, there is a convergence between India and Japan for rule-based order. This is why your China is telling your relationship should not be based on a third country. Understanding? Now, your China does not like the fact that after the Japanese visit, now Indian Prime Minister reaching out to your countries, Indonesia, Australia, or New Zealand is seemed as a threat. First thing, why is it seemed as a threat? See, USA now is not trying to deal with Indo-Pacific through your island partners such as Japan. It is trying to directly deal and engage one-on-one, which means these countries are trying to find new security partners. And that is where the strategic convergence comes in between India and Japan. If this is on one side, China doesn't stop here. For example, let's take the fact that our very own neighbor, Bangladesh's new Prime Minister Tariq Rahman has gone and asked China for helping building your Teesta River Development Project. So this comes as a surprise is because India, okay, Teesta River, if you see, majority of the origin is in Sikkim, Indian state of Sikkim. And when it goes to Bangladesh, it's hardly only for 150 kilometers into your Jamna, then it drains into Bay of Bengal. During former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina government, India had told that it will try to build, okay, this Teesta development project. But now, the present Bangladesh Prime Minister going and asking the Chinese help and China building infrastructure so close to India's chicken neck brings further more concerns. Understanding? But again, India doesn't have to technically worry much on this topic is because of the fact that Bangladesh is asking for Bangladesh, Myanmar, okay, and China cooperation. Your Myanmar already has too much of issues. Yes, with your Arakan army, your Rohingya issues, so much so that we have built Sitwe port. It's almost taken 25 years and yet it is incomplete. Okay, this is even though China's engagement in Myanmar has been with respect to all the fronts and all stakeholders, there has been no sustainable peace brought about. So your China tries to create hegemony in all these aspects and tries to maintain a deterrence for other countries. Understanding? So at this point of time, India's Indo-Pacific push is causing your China into a statement which is thinly veiled and targeting that India's and Japan's relationship should not be based on China. Okay, so why is it in news? Because Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be taking tours a 5-day trip to Indonesia, Australia, and New Zealand, the island countries. Why are these tours undertaken? It is a part of our deeper outreach program and for your, let's say, building the strategic partnership. What is India's Indo-Pacific strategy? India wants to build a free, open, inclusive and rule-based maritime order in the Indo-Pacific, which means it will protect the maritime interests of all the countries and not accept China as the hegemon of South China Sea. It will secure the sea lanes and strengthen regional partnerships, maintain strategic autonomy, and also this will be helping in diversifying our supply chain. Now, before we continue with this video, for those of you who are looking forward for UPSC preparations, look no further, you have found the right place with Legacy IAS Academy. Why? Because we are starting our new batches. Our weekday regular batch starts from 3rd August, 7th September and 3rd November. Whereas our weekend batches, which are tailored for the needs of working professionals, students, will start on 8th August, 10th October and 12th December. So for those of you wondering why you should pick Legacy IAS Academy, we provide a batch which maximum size is only 40 members, so as to we will be able to offer one-on-one mentorship, regular interaction with the educators, and also there will be daily mains answer writing challenge, test series for your prelims, and wide current affair coverage. Now, if you want to get to know more details about Legacy IAS Academy, you can look into Legacy IAS Academy website or contact the number given here. Now, let's continue with the topic. Why is this Indo-Pacific very important? See, first and foremost, it is the home to major naval powers. It contains some of the very key global choke points with respect to global transit. Energy transportation happens from here. Also, it is good and very rich in resources. Okay, there have been instances where China has been trying to conduct your nuclear tests. Okay, it is trying to contact your smaller islands, right? So this place becomes very important, and so does the islands. So, what does PM Narendra Modi's visit to Indonesia signify? If you see, first and foremost, your Indonesia is far important of a partner compared to any other major ASEAN partner itself. Why? Because we're very much closely located nearby to our Andaman Nicobar, okay, and it controls key routes. Another thing is with respect to our BrahMos missile exports, 100 million deal we have with respect to the batteries. This will be a place where India will tell, okay, or India will have a leverage which your China controls, or China feels like it is the only hegemon of the area. Understanding? And next will be your Australia. Australia, again, it has huge amount of critical minerals, good amount of defense partnership. We have 2+2 talks with them, and also this good amount of supply chain resilience that we want to diversify our trade from China with respect to China plus one strategy. So the key areas would be deeper FTAs, comprehensive economic partnerships agreements, maritime security. Next is with respect to New Zealand. With New Zealand also we want to get to a deeper FTAs, okay, and with respect to the Indo-Pacific engagement. So your India's Indo-Pacific policy deals with your defense collaboration, securing the supply chains, energy security, and also resource security with respect to maritime cooperation. Who are the major partners in here? Means to Japan, Indonesia, Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, right? So with Philippines, we already have your BrahMos, and same thing we're trying to increase it with your Indonesia. So China's concern is it fears that all this will limit your China's influence, because now your US is starting that directly to deal with one-on-one engagement rather than with these island countries, and also it feels where its maritime dominance will get threatened, and also India faces issues as with respect to growing naval powers of China, and regional geopolitical competitions are there. Security tensions remain very high, and still there is huge amount of supply chains dependence among all the members. So India's association with Quad or these tours, or India Japan growing closeness with respect to strategic convergence is not something that Beijing sees as aligning with its interests. So how can we go ahead? We can see by strengthening our ASEAN engagement, deepening Indo-Pacific partnership, and also expanding India's naval capabilities, and strengthening local island infrastructures, and bringing about more of a maritime surveillance. And we can also see it from your diversifying supply chains. Okay, so with these partner countries or the islands, the first set of islands, this will improve India's Indo-Pacific policy. Understanding? With this, we come to the end of the content. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share it along with your friends. Thank you.